A group of bird enthusiasts is promoting bird watching as a responsible way to enjoy nature. Joining us via Zoom is Wildbird Club of the Philippines Secretary Maia Tañedo. Good morning, Maia.
Good morning, Paolo.
Maya, first of all, let's talk about the overview of the number of species of birds we can actually watch and witness here in the country. And of course, gaano sila ka-importante sa ecosystem po natin. When you talk about the biodiversity, especially with birds here in the Philippines, just how diverse is it?
Okay, it's actually quite surprising that people don't know so much about birds, given that the Philippines has around 743 different kinds of bird species that can be seen in the country. So, with that big a number, out of that number, no, we have 260 that are endemics. That means the 260 of these bird species can only be found in the country and nowhere else in the world.
We understand that you also conduct guided tours to help educate some of our younger kababayans, and of course, trying to educate people in general. Can you tell us a bit more about those activities to increase yung appreciation natin for them?
Okay, so just to clarify, it's not just for the younger generation. So anybody can actually do bird watching. Our club, the Wildbird Club of the Philippines, actually conducts guided bird watching trips for the general public. So we try to do this at least once a month. Also, other groups can also request. So we've had different schools, companies, and even homeschooling groups. No, we're quite popular with the homeschooling community because it actually gives a hands-on experience to the lessons that the children learn about in school. But aside from the students, anybody can actually get in touch with the club and join a guided bird watching trip, which we conduct in places just around the metro. Any green space actually can be a potential bird watching site.
That's really interesting that any green space, are there any places that I guess some people would be surprised there's actually a big amount of biodiversity, or a place where you can actually witness Philippine birds with a higher appreciation that people may have ignored?
Oh, well, you can start with your backyards. So if you're lucky enough to have a green patch of space where you live, no, even if it's in a garden. I live in Quezon City. We live in a townhouse. Our plants are all potted, but we actually have a lot of endemic birds in our backyards. So you can start in your own homes, in your own villages. But some cities are more lucky than others that have green spaces. So like Quezon City has La Mesa Eco Park. We have the UP Diliman campus. We've also gone out bird watching in Valenzuela, the Tagalog Fishing Village. So any place that actually has sort of maintained a natural kind of habitat will house birds, wild birds. No, bird watching does not count cage birds or
Yeah.
pet birds. Yeah, so bird watching is actually going out to the habitat, to the natural habitat of the birds, and that's where you watch them.
So that's actually a distinction I wanted to make. When you say
Yeah.
wild birds, yan po yung mga out in nature. Tama po ba?
Yes, that's correct. So when I started bird watching, I thought the only place that you can find birds, where you can see birds, are in the zoo. So I used to frequent zoos until I started bird watching. And I discovered they're just actually everywhere. It just takes a matter of being aware, and being mindful, not only to what you see, but also to what you hear. So once actually that awareness is awakened, then there's no stopping you from noticing all the wild birds around you.
And of course, it's a responsible way to enjoy nature. You mentioned you moved on from yung zoos to actually seeing them
Yes.
out in nature. Just has your experience bird watching heightened your sensibilities with regards to the preservation of the bird species here?
Yes, actually, that's very true. It starts with an interest in the birds, but you can't quite help yourself noticing their habitat and what's happening to their habitats, what's happening to the birds, like what's being shown, hunting, poaching. So the first step is being interested. And just like, I guess, anything in life, you cannot really protect something that you don't love or care about. So once you start loving and caring about the birds, then it widens the entire experience, that you start caring for the bigger environment, for the bigger habitat, for the bigger ecosystem, so that you start being more passionate about other things like habitat destruction, about reclamation, about hunting and poaching. And then suddenly you're advocating for these kinds of things as well.
And of course, based on your background, I think that there's something to promote there. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's an Asian Bird Fair happening from November 21 to 22 in the tent in Las Piñas. You can take,
Yes.
ayun, no, there, you move to the side. Maraming salamat. But then,
Yes, there you go.
for
I'm prepared.
for those who are interested in going and for those who will go, what can our viewers expect? And of course, how could they become a part of it?
Okay, so the 13th Asian Bird Fair is coming back to the Philippines. The very first one in 2010 was held in Davao. So it's back in the Philippines, this time in Las Piñas City at the tent. That's on November 21 to 22. So admission is free. It's completely free. We've invited other organizations from across the world, not only from Asia, but also from the South Americas and India and Europe. So they'll all be coming to the tent. Get a chance to interact with them, to meet them, to learn, and to network. Actually, basically, that's what we're doing. And we're all zeroed in about promoting bird watching as a sustainable ecotourism practice. So students are also welcome. We have lots of lectures, fun activities. College students, we have forums, and then for anybody who's just interested to learn more about birds and about nature, and about connecting with like-minded individuals. So the Asian Bird Fair is there. Oh, we also have tour companies that are promoting tours in their different countries. So we have guests from Colombia, from Uganda. So it's a good chance to open your mind, to be exposed to the wonderful world of bird watching.
All right, Maya, before we let you go, are there any social media pages people could follow to get in touch with the Wildbird Club of the Philippines?
Yes, and we have a website, birdwatch.ph. We're also on Facebook, Wildbird Club of the Philippines, and on Instagram as well. We also have a Birdwatch Philippines community where people usually post asking for help about what to do when they find an injured bird, or if they spot a bird that they don't quite know yet. So they ask for advice on what identification that is. So it's a healthy community. We also have activities that we try to do as regularly as possible to get more people engaged and to meet with other bird watchers and get started on their journey.
Well, I cannot wait to see more people join you in terms of watching those birds and, of course, helping preserve the species here in the country. Maraming salamat, Wildbird Club of the Philippine Secretary Maia Tañedo. Fly high.